So, welcome to this talk. My name is Alexander Bell, and this talk is entitled How Change Happens. So, if we truly want to see positive change in society, especially among the people around us, the people we love, people we care about, there is one very important thing we must do. We need to be an example of the change that we wish to see. This means becoming a more tolerant and less irritable person, more trusting and less controlling, more understanding and less judgmental, more caring and less self-centered. I know it's a tremendous cliché, but it's essential to recognize the truth of this. Because if we do everything else except address the quality of our own character, for example, if we point the finger at all the other people who need to change, put all the blame upon their shoulders, and overlook all that needs addressing in our own character, then not only are we deluding ourselves in self-righteousness, but we are failing to harness the most transformative power available to us. There is a well-known phrase which says, "You are either part of the problem or part of the solution." So what exactly would make us part of the problem? Is it our anger, our selfishness, our lack of compassion? Well, strangely, no, it's not our human imperfections that make us part of the problem, because we all have challenges and issues that make us less than loving sometimes. No, what makes us part of the problem is the refusal to recognize that we have imperfections, because this encourages an attitude of self-righteousness and arrogance that makes change impossible within our heart. Change can only occur where there is humility. Humility is what makes us part of the solution. Humility is one of the most precious of all human qualities, because it is one of the rarest. Humility never encourages us to point the finger at others or lay the blame at their feet. Rather, it encourages us to take responsibility and ask what we can do to be a more effective instrument for love and compassion. We cannot truly evolve until we let go of our arrogance and self-righteousness. Yet the ego hates to hear this. It rises in angry opposition when it is told that it needs to be more humble. And this is why our ego is the greatest obstacle to accessing the very beautiful and healing space of humility within our heart. Our humility enables us to recognize that we are not perfect and that our character can improve. We can become a more loving person, a more patient person, a less irritable and moody person, and so on. This simple recognition is the biggest step needed to realizing the catalytic power we have to change not only our own experience of life, but also the world around us. We all have the power to make our heart a more loving, forgiving, and generous place. And this is the crucible for the transformation we all want to witness in the world, our heart. Within our own heart is where all the work is needed. But if we say, "No, not me, my heart is fine," and we continue to point our finger at all the others who we think need to change, then what this essentially means is that we will prevent ourselves from healing, growing, and evolving as a human being. Instead of being an agent for the change that is needed in the world, we remain emotionally stuck where we are, refusing to recognize that anything needs to change within ourselves. We can only evolve as we recognize within our own character what we want to move away from. Dysfunction, self-centeredness, vanity, unkindness, greed, impatience. These are the kinds of attitudes and behaviors we all know that we want to move away from. And the fact that we can even recognize that such qualities are undesirable in our character is a great blessing from our conscience. But as human beings, we also need something positive to aspire to. A role model that shows us and reminds us of our potential, who shows us how rewarding and noble it is to be a more loving, respectful, patient and caring person. We need to have a genuine desire in our heart to mature and improve our character, and there has to be a positive incentive. A role model whom we admire for their integrity, decency, humility and overall character is a very valuable thing to have, because we have someone to model ourselves on. And this is important for people of all ages who are concerned with the state of their own heart. If we are wise, the state of our heart will be our topmost priority through the duration of our life, because essentially, the world we experience around us is a reflection of our own heart. As we become a more loving, caring and patient person, the fact that there's more light in our heart means that we will see more light in the world around us. Aldous Huxley said it this way: "The world is a mirror, reflecting his image to the beholder." Another very wise thing that we can do is to choose a high standard to aspire to. Because who knows, we might surprise ourselves and easily surpass any lower standards. In fact, if we choose the highest standard possible, it doesn't even matter if we get there or not, because just having the heartfelt desire to be a totally loving, kind, tolerant and forgiving person transforms our heart in profound ways. Just having the desire to be that kind of a person. And this is a testament to the incredible power of intention. And it is so important to purify our intentions so that they are less selfish and more focused on being a blessing in the lives of others. So obviously the highest standard we can aspire to is a pure heart, a heart which houses only loving intentions, a heart like Jesus. But the reason we often choose lower standards is because we understandably don't want to recognize how much work there is to do in our own heart. And also we're scared of failing. However, if we don't recognize how much work there is to do in our own heart, how can we possibly address what needs to change? How can we possibly grow? How can we heal? How can we mature and evolve? The first step is recognizing what needs to change. So don't be manipulated by all the clever political messages in the media, encouraging you to put the blame upon others, to see them as the bad guys, to make you believe that they are the ones that need to change if our society is to improve. This is a very clever ploy to prevent real transformation occurring in the heart of our civilization, because transformation has to begin in our own heart. We need to stop laying the blame on others, and we need to take responsibility. Because when we take responsibility for our own character, then we have harnessed the greatest power we possess for societal transformation. Do you really think you can change that other person over there? And can they really change you? What about if everyone groups together and tries to collectively change that other group over there by force? The ones who are the bad guys, the ones who we perceive as the problem in our society. Will that work? Because that is exactly what politics is all about. And this is why politics will always fail to change our society, because it doesn't encourage change from within. Honest self-evaluation on the part of every member of our society, partnered with the genuine desire for improvement, this is the only thing that leads to collective progress, betterment, growth, healing and evolution. So the only question you need to ask yourself is, am I willing to recognize where I can make the real change? Am I willing to recognize what needs to change in my own character, and then take action upon it? Because that means no longer pointing the finger at anybody else. That means looking 100% at yourself, your own character, and seeing your heart in an honest light. This is not always easy to do, but it is the very most important thing we can do. This is how we become part of the solution. Because the problem is the unwillingness to look in the direction which we most need to look in our heart, at our own character. When we do look with an honest eye at ourselves and our character, which is revealed to us through our thoughts, words and behaviour, we will obviously see that there is room for improvement. We will see that there is room to become a more loving person, a more patient person, a more attentive person, a more calm and tolerant person, a more gentle-natured person, a more forgiving person, and so on. This alone is a very powerful recognition. But if we take the next step and we seek to grow, mature, and evolve our character, this is when life's greatest rewards come to us. Firstly, we gain a greater sense of self-respect, the importance of which cannot be overstated. Secondly, we can interact with people on a more humanitarian level, from a place of humility, in which we recognize that we are not perfect. This allows us to share our imperfection and be honest about it, and thus our true humanity is revealed to others. This then automatically encourages the other people to be honest about their own humanity, their vulnerabilities, their fears, their struggles, their heartfelt desires in life. Human interactions are so deeply beautiful when they occur on this level, when there is total honesty in showing who we are. Obviously, our fears of rejection often stop us from showing ourselves truthfully to others. But you'd be amazed at how people show their true self to you when you show your true self to them. We cannot merely expect and demand others to be true with us if we ourselves are not true with them. However, if we lead by example, we will see change occur all around us. We will be a catalyst for all those around us to accept themselves, to heal and grow. This is such a deeply rewarding thing to witness. If you walk this path, rather than being tempted to point the finger, expecting and waiting for others to change, then you will see the rewards that come from this. Assume that others will not change. Assume that others will not improve their character, unless you take the lead, and then it is far more likely to happen. If we all do this, our society will transform at a truly astounding pace. We just have to know what to focus on and what we can do about it. Focus on the character that comes from your heart. And then choose for yourself the highest standard possible, because who knows, you might get so much closer than you think. Aim for a totally loving and totally forgiving heart, and practice moving a little bit closer every day or every week. Any tiny little progress or growth that occurs, and I guarantee you that it will occur, should be celebrated and applauded, because it means that you are moving in the right direction. So congratulate yourself when you see that you have moved forwards, that you have improved just a little bit. It is very important not to punish, criticize, or berate yourself if you stumble, fall back, stagnate, or err in some way. Be patient with yourself, as you would with a child who's learning to do a very challenging task. Because there are no tasks as challenging as improving your own character. Be gentle with yourself, be forgiving of yourself, and be encouraging towards yourself. The fact that you even have the intention to be a more loving person is a beautiful miracle, because that intention alone is like a glowing ember that can ignite your heart, your passion, your determination, and your love of goodness, kindness, and care. Just blow upon that ember every day by reminding yourself that it is your intention to be a more loving and forgiving person, and that you are committed to moving in the right direction. And you most certainly will, because you are destined to. Just be patient and gentle with yourself, because all transformation occurs through love. Thank you for listening to this talk. If you'd like to download my free book called How to Live in Love, then just visit my website, alexanderbell.org, where you will also be able to download all the music I've composed over the past 20 years and read hundreds of articles I've written over the past 5 or 6 years, plus lots of very interesting other things and lots of beautiful music, ambient radio stations, lots of videos. That's all at alexanderbell.org. So thank you for listening. I wish you well, and God bless you.